Welcome back to From 9 to Mom,
where we discuss balancing the 9 to 5 hustle with the beautiful chaos that we call motherhood.
We just did that intro like 3 times, even though we do it every week. But hi, everybody. And we're
just a typical Wednesday morning.
Typical Wednesday morning. I did get the Aventi coffee this morning because it's much needed. I don't know about you.
The fact that you have a venti coffee in your hand and a year and a half ago you weren't drinking coffee is unreal to me.
It really says something for my body and how much caffeine it's willing to take these days.
I'm really proud of you because I literally drink a pot of coffee by myself a day, and now I just feel like we're closer.
I've become quite the addict for sure. But, that's how it is. We've been adjusting routines as always this week. So it just, as you get going into a new routine, you need to boost with some extra caffeine, because typically any routine change for me requires getting up earlier, which is just a nightmare because I'm not a morning person. I hate it. I hate getting up earlier.
Honestly, I always thought I was a morning person. I always scheduled morning classes for school, but morning was 8 o'clock. Okay. And you rolled out of bed. And
that's not.
So I was always a morning person. Oh, Danielle, you're such a morning person. Yeah. 8 o'clock is no longer the morning. This morning, Katie and I, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about things that we want to add into our day that we have no time for and are trying to figure out how to do it. So today, of course, my daycare is sick because everyone's sick. And I had to readjust. Thank God I knew yesterday. So I readjusted my entire schedule. I set my alarm for 5:30 this morning. Yep. And the alarm went off, but I had already had Colton in bed with me. I silenced it. And then I woke up on accident at 6:30 and had to get everyone ready and coordinated, including myself, in a very short part of time. And what I realized as I rolled out of bed for the 100th time this year, which it feels like 100 times this year, is that I'm not a morning person. I like the night, and I will happily be a creature of the night. I want to sleep in, period.
I get that. I watched this girl on TikTok that she's a mom, and she's she does this series every so often where she's like, I'm going to try for 30 days to wake up before my kids, because how nice is it when you're up? If you can,
it's that magic.
30 minutes before your kids wake up, what you can get done is on another level. My problem in my home is that if you tiptoe around, everyone wakes up. It's just magic. I don't know what it is. My kids can hear me breathing, I think. I don't know.
It's like the shift in your scent. It's so true. They smell it. I feel like I'm Mission Impossible trying to do things while they sleep, just so I can drink a coffee by myself on the patio.
That's the one thing, right? And I see all these nice aesthetic Instagrams or TikToks. I'm like, that is fake. My kids would wake up. If I tried to go down and read a chapter of my book and have a coffee at 5:30 in the morning, they would find a way to wake up.
Oh, and that's the thing about social media. So we're going to tangent real quick, because I've talked to so many moms this week alone who say that social media is causing them distress, because I think that there's so much out there. And I'll be honest, when it was just Colton, I woke up every morning before him. I would go do my grounding routine. I was able to stand, no shoes in the grass, 3 things I feel, 3 things I see, 3 things I hear, take at least 3 sips of my coffee before the raptor would wake up. With Daisy in the house, game freaking over. I think I've done that one time, and it's because they slept somewhere else. I don't know. So essentially,
they weren't here.
Social media gives you a picture of someone's life that might actually be happening. It might not be happening, and they might have had to record it 5,000 times. Because Katie, how many times have we decided we're going to do a day in the life?
I have recordings on my phone where I've tried to do day in the life, because I'm like, it's chaotic and I want to show that and show people what it is every time. And I literally can't. I go to put makeup on in the mirror, and Kale's pulling his cord out of his sound machine, and I'm like, you're in a crib. How'd you even get that? I don't understand. And they're awake. So it's me and Ryan we work pretty well in the morning together. Yeah. I've been trying to get up earlier. I'm just a sleeper. I snooze that alarm 100 times. I get up, but then my thing is I can get ready in 10 minutes. And
now I can. Ready. I couldn't before, but now I can. It's a miracle.
So because I've mastered that slick back pony, it's
looks
so
to have
in the pocket. And so that I can be ready in 10 minutes with a kid with me, and it makes it a little easier. But Ryan really enjoys the morning. He loves it. So we've just this week we've decided it's currently Wednesday. So I'm acting like we've been doing this forever. And we're perfect.
Wow.
But like
3 days in,
we're back on our workout game. So we're like,
which I'm proud of you for.
We're both like, seasonal depression needs to kick it. Like we need something. And we're both like, we miss our like routine walks that we did all summer, all fall, like literally as far as into the winter.
You had a great routine. You did it with me while you were here. That's probably why you're sad, because you got to do it.
I know, I got a taste of it and now I'm like dying for it. But we have this beautiful treadmill in our basement and you can take walks. It's the Nordic Trek. You can take walks on
that's so nice.
the beach. Like you can do anything. So like we both been doing it. And Ryan's point, he's always like, if I do it in the morning, it's done and I'm done. Like it always works better if you do it in the morning, which I do agree with. But like I refuse to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. That is still the night for me. I want
it's still
to be
dark out. Like my kids would say, Mommy, it's still dark.
I'm willing to get up at 6 a.m. is the earliest I'm willing to set an alarm. Like I want to put something on my phone that doesn't allow me to ever set it for before that. But like for me, that's just, I can't do any earlier or it's not going to, like, that's not a routine.
But at least you're accepting that about yourself. I know I can do 5 a.m. because I did it for a long time. I was going to burn boot camp before I got pregnant with Daisy, if you remember. But the only reason I did it, and I worked at Target for a long time and I would have to wake up for like at 4:30, it depended on what was going on.
Times. Yeah.
But I didn't have kids, so game changer there.
It's different.
But with Colton, before I got pregnant with Daisy, I was going to burn boot camp at 5 o'clock with my friend in the neighborhood. But she literally would text me at 4:30 in the morning, I'm coming to pick you up. You are coming. So I felt like I had my clothes like, she's a great friend. She is a great friend. And I would have to rush around and get ready. But if she did not come pick me up, you can guarantee with 100% certainty that I would have turned that alarm off. And there's nothing dumber than setting the alarm earlier than you're actually going to wake up, because then you get broken sleep. If you tried 5 a.m. and 6 is the earliest, that's so. I know how you feel about the break.
I've done like I snooze for 45 minutes before. Like I just keep going, but it is like it's hard to add on time in the morning if you're not a morning person, but that is like the most reasonable way to do it. Like you want to read more, you want to do this. Like
and they say business people 5 a.m. they're the most successful. Like
shut up.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna cry.
I dare you.
I'll try. See.
But yeah, I can't do it. So like workout in the morning is not for me, but like Ryan and I, us routine folk, we rotate who does bedtime for who, and Cal is in a phase of, we still have his like chair, like rocking chair in the room and all that
Daisy
but like I want to rock that kid. Like Jack would, I think right now if I put Jack in that chair, he would let me rock him to sleep. Like I think he would loves snuggles. Like all he wants is snuggles. Calvin, you turn the light off, he turns his own sound machine, crib points, crib, because now he can say crib. Don't even sit down. Don't nothing. He wants to be put in there. And then he just lays there and like plays with his little elephant fluffy.
I'm so jealous.
And I'm like,
he's like, Mama bed, rock me. Mama, rock me.
Well, that's what we were used to. We were literally till 2.5. We were rocking Jack to bed. Like it was like all the way to sleep. I'm talking like the kid wouldn't be put down awake in the crib. And so like Cal is just like on another level.
So you're desperate for his snuggles.
So like whoever has him is like a 3-second bedtime. Like there isn't a bedtime. Like
so you put him to bed now.
Well, so whoever puts him to bed usually will work out at night now. I mean, again, this is day 3. Like we're not
a whole 3 days.
But like, it's funny because you have to, when you want to add stuff in, you have to figure out what your plan is right now, because my kids were in a different routine 3 months ago that like, it just like Cal was going to bed, like they were staggered bedtimes. We're getting back to where they're on the same bedtime now. Like, it's just always back and forth. You can't have one routine and then just go with it. And if you want to add things in, like we're trying to do, whether it's working out, I have additional work hours that I want to put in. Like, it's impossible.
I think we were doing the podcast when we read when I forced you to read Atomic Habits last year, the one book you read in 2024.
I did read that
right?
book.
That was 2024, I think.
Actually, you're right. So that I have read a book in the last 10 years.
Yeah, you read Atomic Habits. I'm super proud of you.
And nothing stuck.
And now the wedding people, but
I'm doing good on our work now, but we'll get into the recap.
I feel like with the Atomic Habits, when we talked about that back in the day, they talk a lot about with a habit, you can also like have trigger things. So like if Kale whoever puts Kale to sleep, the other person is is working out. Like that's no matter what time it happens, it's less about like, because what happens is if you're like, okay, at 8 o'clock, I'm going to work out. And if 8 o'clock comes and goes, then you're like, well, 8 came and went. No, too bad. Done. Where if it's reliant on something else, and I talked to you about this when you were trying to get into reading the book, I'm like, Katie, before you turn on Netflix, you have to force yourself to read X amount of pages. Like read X amount of pages and your reward is getting to do that. But I think, and I'm just thinking about this now as you're saying it, something that I have been trying to do a lot is timestamp my days and make it clear, but the timestamping never works in my household because either my dad dad wanted to take Colton on a date, and normally
he's not aware of the timestamps.
Yes, exactly. Bath time 6:45, and when the kid strolls in at 7:30, 8 o'clock, you can't do bath time, but you should still do bath time, right? Like the bath should still happen. It didn't last night, and now we had to readjust this morning because the kids didn't take a bath last night. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where maybe it's less about what time and it's more about what you do and triggering like how you do it. So if you and Ryan both want to work out and you know he's a morning person and you're a night person, he can wake up every morning and work out, or 3 days a week. And on those 3 days, you put Calvin to bed and you get to go work out after that. And that's a good way to think about it, because there's a lot of things I think we all want to add to our schedules. Like journaling, it sounds dumb, but when I say journaling, I have my planner and I like to plan.
You want to make a to-do list.
I do. And if I don't do it the night before, first thing in the morning, it doesn't happen for me. So like, how do I integrate that into my day? I don't know.
Well, it is like you have to figure out what's important and at what point in your motherhood journey that you're able to add on things, because there's also like, I've said it a million times, but I'm just surrounded by pregnant people. Like working out's not on the top of any of their radar. Gone are the days where like me and a couple of my friends went and signed up for the free Burn Boot Camp 60-day challenge or whatever and did it together. And that like I'm not even making it to a gym right now. Like I have to do I have to make it convenient.
I've been paying for a gym since April 1st that I've not walked into since the day I signed up. That's not like and why do we do that to ourselves? Like, why do I pay for a gym?
You have to, and that's where it's like you have to figure out how to be realistic about what's going to be convenient for your schedule. And then it is like so hard. And I know that there's people that, because you're like, we keep saying like you're type A, but type B. And like, even with your spontaneity, you like to be able to just drop and go do something after work, or like go, if there's something that came up, you would do that and do, whatever it may be. I know that me and Ryan are so routined in things, but it like works. Like when we and Ryan have like 3 or 4 days of routine, like we're happy. Like we feel good. Like
I think that has changed for me too, though. I believe once you have kids, regardless of your personalities, the routine makes all of us happier. Like we didn't always do bath time at night. Like our routine now is Jordan comes home from work before me. I'm still working. When I get done, I come out, I play with the kids. He cooks dinner. We eat dinner early. We go do bath time. I read the kids a book. Usually he puts Daisy to bed. I put Colton to bed, and then he showers while I'm finishing Colton. And that's our time after that to do whatever we need to or want to do. Right. And that makes our life infinitely better. But then the way we added spontaneity back in, and it's changing for me right now because, well, as we said, The Bachelorette's not on, but we're usually one night a week, I would go watch whatever show we're watching with our friends. So whether it's The Bachelor, Bachelorette, Dancing with the Stars, that's my night. And Wednesday nights, it's been for him for a long time. That's his ex-golf night. Yeah. So like he has league. So those are our 2 nights where we get to do the spontaneous thing, but like you said, spontaneities, whatever.
I know, I can't say it.
I don't know, it's fine. It doesn't work when you have a bunch of mom friends because everything has to be so planned. This kid has basketball tonight. We can't all do it. So it's been easier to plan things like we do a monthly girls' night. We plan it like as soon as the next one's done, we're planning the next month.
Far out, yeah.
And I just feel like that does help. It helps kids. It helps people with ADD. It helps so many people to just have that like routine. But I feel like it changes. We talk about this all the time, but it's changing constantly based on the needs of your kids, what season you're in.
As they get older, like it changes of things. I mean, there's like right now it's because this just came up. Like I do not go anywhere between 12 and 1 o'clock. I cannot risk Calvin falling asleep in the car because he will not nap.
And then it's game over. And then the rest of the day screwed.
So like, I'm just not willing to go do that. So like, even this,
see where I will, and then I have to eat
weekend,
it.
and then you have to deal with, the afternoon, and that's fine. But like, we just like the schedule. So at this point, I'm just like, no, we're not going to do anything from that time. I need to be home.
How empowering is it to say no? How empowering is it to say no? It's like, this is why. It feels good, right?
But I also think I'm at a point where everyone in my life right now understands the no. I remember when it was just Jack and nobody else had kids, and we used to try to say no and people would not understand. So that also
Rachel
makes
and Joe paved the way for me. Thank you guys for doing that. I appreciate it.
So like, but if you don't have people that understand and you're trying to say no, it's very hard because they don't get it. And it's just, I'm not willing to sacrifice his nap in the afternoon because that's a long time. And that kid thinks he doesn't, if he takes a 5-second snooze, if he even just shuts his eyes in the car, he doesn't think he needs to nap. And then he's miserable because he needs the nap. Like,
that's how Daisy is. Like, she could literally nod her head 3 times in the car and that's game over, not sleeping again. Yeah, like, it's terrible.
Like, and I mean, even 12 to 1's pushing it. That kid will fall asleep at 11 if we're going somewhere. So like right now, like this upcoming weekend, we're trying to coordinate with my family and do a lunch, but I'm like, I'm not willing to be in a car from 12 to 1. So how do you want to do lunch?
Well, then you feel bad because what I tend to do now, because for nighttime too, like I'm not keeping Daisy out until 9 o'clock. Like it is not going to benefit me. Like that routine has saved my life. So a lot of times I want people to come to our house. Yeah. And I know that's a lot for other, like we do Sunday sauce every Sunday. And I know that's a lot for Rachel and Joe and Dave and Sydney, and to be able to like always come to our house. Or Joe and Rachel have 2 kids themselves. And I feel like I'm constantly asking them to come to me because Daisy is the littlest and she still has like naps. But whatever.
It's the season of that, like,
and it will go away, but that's where we're at right now. So like, unfortunately, that's what has to happen. If we want to have Sunday sauce, if that's a routine we want to have as a family, like that's how it goes. Yeah. And I think that's hard.
Good. It's good to know the boundaries too. And it's like, the other thing is that you feel guilty. So like me saying, I'm not willing to give up the nap I'm already thinking, I'm like, people are going to take that as that I want the break of when that kid's sleeping in the afternoon and that. You know what? Maybe I do. Maybe I do. And if
that's the reason, good for you. But it's also because you don't want a psychopath on your hands for the next 8 hours.
And he doesn't sleep well at night. If he won't go to bed.
The doctors will tell you that.
Power through. And everyone knows that, but then you feel like you start questioning that perception of it, of like, but it is like, on the weekends, I need a minute to do a load of laundry. I need a minute to catch up on stuff. Like
they used to nap the kids. So Daisy's daycare doesn't. She gets out at 1 and then she comes home and takes her nap. Colton's daycare, because it was all day, napped the kids. And Katie, if you want to feel bad, Jordan and I lived for that nap. And I remember when they took it from 2 hours down to 1, and we were like, what is this? Like, because one of us would usually nap with him. Yeah. Like it was our guaranteed nap.
Extra sleep,
The other would get to do something for 2 hours. And now it's like, so when they broke down, it was completely, Colton was a great sleeper. It didn't matter if he napped or didn't. That kid wanted to sleep. It was selfish. We wanted our nap. We wanted our break.
To stay, to be on and be that mom that you want to be during the times that they're awake, and
want
to do a craft, want to do this. Like you need to be able to have a second to reset during the day. Like unfortunately, we're working moms. Like we don't know how to be on 8 to 8, like stay at home moms, or like.
Yeah, good for they are incredible.
They are they're the masters of like navigating. And for us, like by Sunday night, sometimes I'm like, damn.
Yeah, like
I went exhausted.
To bed on Monday night. I went to bed at 8 o'clock. I'm a night owl. I'm up till like 2 a.m. every night. I went to bed. I looked at Jordan and I said, I'm going to bed tonight. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And at 8 o'clock, I went to bed. And it was so freaking magical. I wish I wasn't a night person because that was really amazing. I was very overtired. But I just think that it's okay to be a little bit selfish in your reasoning, but also understand like you can't feel guilt. You're trying to be the best parent you can, but also you're trying to get shit done for yourself and for everybody else. And I think that's where it's like, let's list off. And I didn't think about this in advance, or we didn't prep this in advance, but why don't we list off 3 things that we're trying to add each to our routine, and like in 30 days, like we can help ourselves, or if people have advice on how to add that to your routine, they can help us do it before we get into our book recap. So what are 3 things that you want to add to your routine?
Oh man. So My first one is reading, obviously. I've been
Mm-hmm.
keeping up, and we'll get into the recap, but I've been keeping up, which has been good. But
I'm proud
I
of you.
wish that I could figure out like a solid reading time. I feel like I'm there. I'm almost there. Working out for sure. And I think Ryan and I are going to be there in another week. Like, you need to go for a whole week and get into the second week for it to stick. So I think if we get through next week, it'll stick. So working out. And then I think I need more morning time before the kids. Like, I have to wake up at 6.
So that's 6 a.m.
It helped me a lot to get it done. I just don't want to, but that's what I'll give mine. So what are yours?
I'd like to start working out and integrate that into my schedule and be more realistic about what it is. I have not figured it out, but I just need 30 minutes of physical activity outside of chasing the kids around a day. I would also like to have a day, not a whole day. I need a time slot a week where I could sit down. As you know, I paid all the bills in our household. I do all the budgeting. I know you do as well, but like, I need time to be able to set aside for that. So I'm not trying to squeeze it in, because I feel like I'd be so much less stressed if I could really look at the week and pay the bills and budget in advance and then just go on my merry way. So I'd like to integrate like time for that. And then I am going to double down with you on the morning time. Like, I want to not be rushing myself in the morning. Right. I would like that extra half hour to just not even to like shower necessarily, which would be cool. You could tell like when I haven't washed my hair, because I have the ponytail with the 2 things, and you have the slick back pony. That's how you know Katie and I have sacrificed.
So those are called slut strands.
My slut strands from the 90s. That's how you know that I've got dry shampoo in my hair, just like Katie's slick back look, because she's younger than me and cooler. So my slut strands are the gift. But I would like that time too. I would like to get that time back to like set my day up for success.
Right.
So I think those are 3 like good things.
The only advice I have is with the budgeting thing. I make sure I have it all on my phone. Make sure you have an easily accessible way to do your budgeting on your phone. If I don't check it on my phone in the morning before I start work for the day, I always go through my budget. I had seen a tip that was like, you're going to stay more on budget if you check every day and be conscious of what you spend every day. Because I check on like my app every day, but when it comes to like budget, I need the Excel. I need like the color coded Excel spread. I do. Like, it's just something weird about me. I at least look at that once a day, but I check all my accounts and spending every single morning, update my like I have
every day. Lord Jesus, Erin Sky Kelly would be so proud of you. She's my financial hero.
Because otherwise you go 4 days in a row and you're like, you stopped at the grocery store, you picked up at Target, and you're like, there goes my extra $200 that I budgeted for this week.
You're right.
So you have to like get yourself accountable for it and figure it out, because like, so today we were planning on going out to dinner tonight because we needed to be out of the house tonight. And, now we don't need to, and we're going to stay in. So now we like saved that money, but now all of a sudden Ryan has to bring all the cutlery and plates for work. And I'm like, can you pick a less expensive thing? All of a sudden I'm like, why didn't you tell me?
I picked berries. I missed the sign up for a Hardy party today, and I had to do berries. And berries are I had to do strawberries and blueberries. I picked the most expensive thing. I spent $40.
Yeah, like you go get 2 packs of that.
Blueberries.
It's so bad. I signed up for Oreos. And I had to cut them up this morning. Yeah, I would have signed. I would have signed up for. Because Katie says I'm a crunchy mom. This has nothing to do with me being a crunchy mom. I missed the sign up. Okay, I got stuck with what was last minute. Nobody wanted to do the berries.
So I think those are good 3 things. If you guys want to join in on adding stuff or have tips and tricks for Katie and I, let us know. We'd love to hear it.
As always, please. All right, so we need to dive into our book recap.
The book.
We have 5 minutes. So I need to go through where I'm at. As I'm at about chapter 10, I believe, because these are chapters.
Yeah.
I know, right? I really like the format of this book. And Ryan said I was a bad reader for thinking this way, but he's my reading buddy now, so he has to deal with all the conversation. So I like how short the chapters are. They're digestible. I can get 2 done I feel like I'm accomplishing as I go, so it's really good for my brain.
Yep.
I can't figure out if I like or dislike how it changes who's talking. Like who's
I was going to ask you, because that for me is books that have that cadence in them. I've always enjoyed more than books that are told from one perspective.
I think I do, because I like hearing both of theirs. I'm curious when we get to sex scenes whose perspective it's going to be in. Right now they're very like,
don't worry, you'll get both.
They're in the they're in the attraction phase where like they clearly like each other, and like that she just worked her first shift at the honky tonk. So, and they were like bantering all night.
That's
like
I kept calling we went to the honky tonk on Saturday night, but it's called Roses.
So
and I kept calling it the honky tonk. And I'm like, I want to go to honky tonk. And I can't figure out subconsciously what I wanted to pick. I wanted
Knox
to be at
to pick it.
Lord. Okay.
So I can't tell if go ahead.
I want to put something in your mind for all our readers. The Washington Commanders coach with the dark hair, Jordan sent it to me and said, this is the main character of all the novels you're reading right now. We have to post him. But that's in my head, like shorter hair. Like that's what I picture Knox to look like in my head.
The head coach?
Even though I think he has light hair, but like he's literally.
Definitely. Okay. I
Are you seeing him?
Yeah. So
but that's what all of them look like to me in that whole novel.
Okay, so the other thing that I'm really liking the flow. I like the lighthearted, like I feel good about escaping to this right now. Like I like the story. Happy. But I'm not into crazy sex scenes yet, so I'm curious how that will go for me.
Out for you.
Michelle, I'm blowing her up in this, but she listened to it on audiobook and she's like, I had to stop playing it. Like I was at work.
Yeah, you can't listen. Like I've turned it off in front of Jordan before. I feel
like you get embarrassed. All right, I'm curious.
You'll get flushed in the face.
So she just finished her first shift. I really like how lighthearted it is. Like I'm excited to go back and read more chapters at this point, so that's good. I am a little intimidated by how big the book is, like how much further I have to go, but I'm over 100 pages in, so like I feel like I'm keeping a good pace. So overall, like I'm liking it so far. I like the story; it's cute. I like the flirtation that's happening.
This is a big, this is a big turn of events for you in your reading journey. Right? I'm very excited.
I know I know a lot of people have read this and it is a popular series. So I think it's good that I feel better than I'm on everyone else.
And I'm glad that we chose this one for you. Cause I do think this first like half of the year is for you, Katie. We're going to genre hop and we're going to give you the exploration you need to find love in reading.
Thank you all. Yes. So I'm going to stay tuned with that. But the last thing I'll say is when I read Knox's portions of the book, and maybe this is the way I read. When I read, I feel like I'm talking the book in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually I read, like when I was in high school, like I always was the person that read out loud, and I would read, but I could comprehend, but like, I would just try to read as fast as I could because I was that kid in class that would just read.
Yes.
I could read without stuttering. And so I feel like when I'm reading in my head, so him with his accent is like...
You're reading it in his accent.
And I can't, like some of the words I know I should be pronouncing.
Next week,
so I'm finding
Katie's going to read us an excerpt from the book in Knox's voice. I'll play...
With like a...
Daisy. He calls her Daisy, but I'll call her.
But I'm like thinking, okay, they're in Virginia.
Naomi.
Like it's not that hearty of an, like it's not a deep South accent. Like,
but part of me thinks it is. Like if you've ever driven through West Virginia, like,
but they're in like regular Virginia.
I don't know. Yeah. They sound like they're in the backwoods. Like
I guess I'm thinking like Virginia Beach people, like preppy beach goers.
Yeah,
still.
no.
So like maybe I'm thinking
need to consider like
deep South
plantation. You know?
Yeah. So, but that's where I'm struggling because I read it out loud. Like, I feel like I hear my voice in my head when I read, if that's making sense.
Yes.
And I can't talk. I don't have any accents in my belt. Like, I'm not a person that like does that.
Also think I listen to voices. And then if I see the movie and it doesn't match, like the face and the voice do not match, it really messes with me.
So I think I do like in this book that they've done some explanations of that. I missed it in The Wedding People. Like they didn't explain how everybody looked to a T. Like this one, we're getting hair colors, we're getting like builds, we're getting tattoo, like where the tattoos are. Like
you will get descriptions of things that you never have heard described in this way before. So it'll be really good for you soon.
Yeah. So we'll see.
But so
far we're in a much better spot than The Wedding People.
And I think they do a really good, and I think they do a really good job of balancing a little bit of like the backstory and mystery with like fun flirtation. So I think it's a good balance, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. And then next week, I think by the time we talk next week, we'll be able to get into a little more of the juicy details because I am very curious. And I want to share my thoughts on it too.
I know. So we'll be a little further ahead because we're recording early, everybody, because Danielle's traveling. So we're recording this pre-Valentine's Day. You're going to hear this post-Valentine's Day, and then we'll talk. I mean, we won't record again until the end of the month here. So I could be done with the book by the time we record next.
Yeah, we'll hop on if there's any, like, we need to hash out. I'll do a bonus episode if we need to hash out your first sex scene in the novel.
We might have to.
But I think it's time to clock out and clock back in to the 9 to 5. But this makes me very excited. So everybody go read.
On our way.
Join the book club. Bye.
Join the book club. Bye.